From the ruins of forgotten cities to artifacts buried beneath centuries of dust, traces of a different kind of history still linger, one where ancient people may have known far more than we once believed. Scattered across the world are tools, structures, and devices that seem to defy the limits of their time. Built without machines, mapped without satellites, forged without electricity, and yet somehow still here. What kind of knowledge did they possess, and how much of it have we truly understood? Let's begin with the most enduring mysteries of ancient technology: Antikythera Mechanism. Beneath the sun-dappled waters off the coast of Antikythera, Greece, in the year 1901, sponge divers stumbled upon the wreckage of an ancient Roman cargo ship. Amid the usual assortment of amphorae and bronze statues, they uncovered something wholly unexpected: an encrusted, corroded device, unlike anything known from the ancient world. This discovery would later be called the Antikythera Mechanism, and it remains one of the greatest technological mysteries of antiquity. Crafted more than 2,000 years ago, this intricate assembly of bronze gears and dials is widely regarded as the world's first analog computer. Housed in a wooden casing no larger than a shoebox, it could track the movements of the sun, moon, and possibly even the 5 known planets of the ancient world. Its complex system of interlocking gears revealed a level of mechanical sophistication that wouldn't be replicated for another 1,000 years. Modern imaging techniques, including X-ray tomography, have uncovered inscriptions and inner workings previously hidden by time. Researchers have since reconstructed parts of the mechanism, revealing its ability to predict eclipses and model astronomical cycles with astonishing precision. But what remains elusive is who built it, and how such advanced knowledge could exist in a world still considered pre-industrial. Was this the work of a lone genius, a lost school of Hellenistic engineering? Or does it point to an entire chapter of human innovation now lost beneath the waves? The Antikythera Mechanism remains silent, but its gears still turn in the minds of those trying to understand just how far back our mastery of the cosmos truly began. Baghdad Battery. In the dusty shelves of the National Museum of Iraq lies a ceramic pot, no taller than a handspan, yet its contents have puzzled scientists, historians, and engineers for decades. Known as the Baghdad Battery, this unassuming artifact may represent one of the most controversial questions in ancient technology. Did early civilizations harness electricity? Discovered in the 1930s near modern-day Baghdad, the artifact consists of a terracotta jar, a copper cylinder, and an iron rod. When assembled, the components bear a striking resemblance to a simple galvanic cell. Tests using similar replicas have shown that when filled with an acidic solution, like vinegar or lemon juice, the setup can produce a small electric charge. But why would a civilization nearly 2,000 years ago need such a device? Some propose it may have been used for electroplating, coating objects with precious metals. Others suggest it held religious or medicinal significance, or that it's a misinterpreted object entirely. Critics argue that there's no direct evidence of wires, conductors, or any other infrastructure supporting widespread electrical use. The context of its discovery, during a time when documentation was sparse and excavation methods were less rigorous, only deepens the mystery. Was this truly a primitive battery, or simply a coincidence of form and function? The Baghdad Battery remains an open circuit in history, its charge not measured in volts, but in questions that refuse to fade. Roman dodecahedrons. Across the scattered reaches of the former Roman Empire, from Britain to Hungary, archaeologists have uncovered over 100 small bronze objects, each with 12 flat faces, a hollow center, and precisely sized holes on every side. These are the Roman dodecahedrons, and their purpose remains entirely unknown. Dating from the 2nd to 4th centuries CE, these artifacts range in size from a few centimeters to palm-sized. Some are finely crafted, while others appear more utilitarian. What unites them is their geometric regularity. Each face is a perfect pentagon, and many are adorned with knobs at the corners. No written records mention them. No inscriptions explain them. They were never depicted in Roman art, nor found in clearly ritualistic settings. Speculations abound. Some scholars believe they were candlestick holders or measuring devices for water flow or distance. Others suggest they were used for knitting gloves, aligning astronomical measurements, or even in divination rituals. Yet despite their uniform shape, no two dodecahedrons are exactly alike in hole size or design, casting doubt on the idea of a standardized tool. Adding to the enigma, they're almost exclusively found in the northwestern provinces of the Roman Empire, areas often considered more remote and militarized. Were they weapons, toys, instruments of faith? Like the 12 faces they bear, the Roman dodecahedrons offer many sides to consider, but no clear answer to the role they once played in Roman life. They sit in museum cases today as silent puzzles, reminders of how much we still do not know. Saqqara bird. In 1898, within the sands of the Saqqara necropolis in Egypt, a wooden object was unearthed from a tomb dating back to approximately 200 BCE. Carved from sycamore and resembling a stylized bird. This artifact, now famously known as the Saqqara bird, has since ignited a quiet but persistent debate among scholars and enthusiasts alike. At first glance, it appears to be a simple avian figurine, perhaps a toy or a ceremonial relic. But closer inspection reveals characteristics not typical of ancient bird depictions: a straight, rigid tail instead of a fanned one, and wings with an angle and curvature more in line with aerodynamic principles than symbolic art. Its form has led some to wonder, was this more than a representation of a bird? Could it have been an early exploration into the mechanics of flight? Proponents of this theory have gone as far as creating scaled-up models, claiming the design exhibits glider-like properties when tested under the right conditions. Some even suggest it reflects a lost understanding of aerodynamics, an ancient precursor to human attempts at controlled flight. However, mainstream Egyptology remains unconvinced. No accompanying texts, diagrams, or similar models have been discovered. Without context, the object remains an outlier, anomalous but not evidence. Still, the Saqqara bird continues to capture imaginations. Whether the result of chance, ritual, or early experimentation, it glides forever in the space between possibility and mystery. Nazca lines. High in the arid plains of southern Peru, etched into the desert floor, lie massive geoglyphs that span hundreds of square kilometers. These are the Nazca lines, a collection of straight lines, geometric patterns, and animal figures so vast they can only be fully appreciated from the air. First brought to global attention in the 20th century, their origins date back nearly 2,000 years. Drawn by removing the sun-darkened stones to reveal the lighter earth beneath, the figures have withstood centuries of wind and erosion, preserved by the region's extreme dryness and lack of rainfall. Some lines stretch for kilometers, while others form complex shapes: hummingbirds, monkeys, spiders, and spirals, each with precise proportions and placement. Yet their purpose remains elusive. Were they astronomical calendars mapping solstices and celestial events? Were they ritual walkways, meant to be followed during ceremonies, or messages to deities, only visible from above, intended for the gods rather than human eyes? Despite decades of research, no definitive interpretation has emerged. Satellite mapping and drone imagery have revealed even more hidden figures, suggesting the Nazca people undertook a vast, organized effort that may have spanned generations. Why would an ancient civilization create artwork too large to see from the ground? The Nazca lines remain one of archaeology's most enduring riddles, a message carved into the earth, waiting for its intended audience to understand. Iron Pillar of Delhi. In the heart of Delhi, near the towering Qutub Minar, stands a seemingly unremarkable column of iron, over 7 meters tall and weighing more than 6 tons. Yet this structure, known as the Iron Pillar of Delhi, defies expectations. Erected over 1,600 years ago, it has withstood centuries of exposure without succumbing to rust. Believed to have been forged during the reign of Chandragupta II around the 4th century CE, the pillar bears an inscription in ancient Sanskrit praising the ruler and his achievements. But it's not the message that draws scientists and historians, it's the metallurgy. Despite Delhi's humid climate and monsoon rains, the pillar remains largely uncorroded, baffling modern experts in materials science. Studies have revealed that the iron contains high levels of phosphorus and minimal sulfur or manganese, elements that contributed to a protective oxide film forming on the surface, a passive layer that continues to preserve it. This process, now termed passivation, is well understood today, but how ancient Indian metallurgists discovered or applied it remains unclear. Was it the result of a deliberate technique, or simply a fortunate combination of ore and craftsmanship? Could this point to a broader, lost understanding of advanced metallurgy in ancient India? The Iron Pillar stands not just as a monument to a bygone ruler, but as a silent testament to a technical achievement that still resists full explanation. Piri Reis Map. In 1929, while cataloguing artifacts in Istanbul's Topkapi Palace, researchers uncovered a fragment of a world map that would ignite decades of intrigue and debate. Known today as the Piri Reis Map, this parchment, dated 1513, was compiled by Ottoman admiral and cartographer Piri Reis, and it depicts parts of Europe, Africa, and astonishingly, what some believe to be the coastline of Antarctica, centuries before its official discovery. Drawn on gazelle skin and annotated in Ottoman Turkish, the map credits earlier sources, including ancient Greek and possibly even Phoenician charts, as well as maps from Columbus himself. What has fascinated scholars most is the apparent accuracy of the South American and West African coastlines, well beyond what 16th century navigators were thought to know. But it's the southern portion of the map, which some claim resembles the ice-free coastline of Queen Maud Land in Antarctica, that fuels the real mystery. How could Piri Reis, or the ancient sources he relied on, have known the contours of a landmass buried beneath ice for thousands of years? Skeptics argue the resemblance is coincidental, or that it simply reflects a misinterpretation of South America. Others see it as evidence of lost maritime knowledge, passed down through civilizations now forgotten. The Piri Reis map endures as a provocative relic, its ink faded, its parchment cracked, but its questions very much alive. Damascus steel. Forged in the heart of the Middle East between the 3rd and 17th centuries, Damascus steel became legendary for its beauty, resilience, and almost mythical cutting power. Blades crafted from this ancient material were said to slice through lesser swords, sever rifle barrels, and retain a razor-sharp edge through countless battles. Yet today, the exact method of their creation remains a lost art, characterized by distinctive flowing patterns resembling water, smoke, or swirling wood grain. True Damascus steel was made using a special kind of crucible steel known as woots, imported from India and Sri Lanka. The process involved melting iron with carbon-rich materials in sealed clay containers, allowing impurities to be reduced and carbon content controlled with remarkable precision. But somewhere in the early modern period, this knowledge faded, whether due to disrupted trade routes, the loss of skilled blacksmiths, or changing warfare technology. The secrets of authentic Damascus steel disappeared. Modern metallurgists have studied surviving blades using scanning electron microscopes and have even detected nanoscale structures, carbon nanotubes, and carbide particles that may explain the steel's unique properties. Yet despite technological advances, no one has been able to perfectly replicate the original formula and forge. Modern Damascus blades, though beautiful, are patterned by folding and welding rather than made from true woots. The mystery of Damascus steel lies not just in the material, but in the hands and minds that once shaped it. Masters of metallurgy whose craft has quietly slipped into the shadows of history. Greek fire. On the decks of Byzantine warships, as enemy fleets drew near, crews would unleash a terrifying weapon that seemed to defy nature itself. Greek fire. This incendiary substance, deployed as early as the 7th century CE, could cling to water, ignite upon contact, and continue burning even on the surface of the sea. Its psychological impact alone was enough to turn the tide of naval battles and preserve an empire. Unlike other ancient incendiaries, Greek fire wasn't thrown, it was projected. Using a system of pressurized bronze tubes mounted on ships, the Byzantines could hurl the burning liquid at enemy vessels with devastating effect. Historical records describe it as impossible to extinguish with water, requiring sand, vinegar, or even old urine to suppress the flames. But perhaps the most remarkable aspect of Greek fire isn't what it did, but what we still don't know. The precise formula has never been recovered. It was considered a state secret of the highest order, known to only a few and passed down orally. Not even the fall of Constantinople revealed its ingredients. Modern scientists have proposed combinations of substances like petroleum, quicklime, sulfur, and pine resin. But no replication has fully captured the properties described in ancient accounts. Whether it was chemistry, pressure mechanics, or simply the mythologizing of history, Greek fire remains an enigma, a weapon that burned across water and now burns across the centuries, as one of history's most guarded and enduring technological mysteries. Ark of the Covenant. According to ancient Hebrew texts, the Ark of the Covenant was a sacred chest built at the command of God, designed to house the stone tablets of the Ten Commandments. Constructed of acacia wood and overlaid with gold, the Ark was said to be both a symbol of divine presence and a vessel of immense, mysterious power. Carried by the Israelites during their journey through the wilderness, the Ark was housed in the Holy of Holies within the Temple of Solomon. Biblical accounts describe it as a source of miracles and of destruction. It was said to part rivers, fell city walls, and strike down those who touched it improperly. Some texts even hint at the Ark emitting fire, storms, or blinding light, fueling speculation that it may have been more than a symbolic artifact. Then, suddenly, it disappeared. Following the Babylonian conquest of Jerusalem in 586 BCE, the Ark vanished from historical record. Neither ancient texts nor modern archaeology have confirmed its fate. Was it destroyed, hidden, taken to Ethiopia, as the Ethiopian Orthodox Church claims, where a guarded chapel in Axum still purports to house it today. Scholars remain divided. Some see the Ark as pure myth, others as a lost religious relic, and a few as something far stranger, an ancient device whose function and origin we no longer understand. To this day, the Ark of the Covenant remains one of history's most enduring absences, a symbol of divine law, a lost treasure, and a mystery that continues to provoke both faith and curiosity.